What's up, you YouTubers? It is I, Henry, coming to you today with a deck profile of Infernoids. Now, mine's a little different than the average Infernoid build because I don't really like the average build because I see a lot of people using Wolf and solar recharges, and I don't like that. So, I'm going to get right into it. I'll explain all my tech choices. So to start off, 3 Antra. Antra is pretty self-explanatory. What this does is you can banish one Infernoid monster from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on the field and return it to your opponent's hand. And then once per turn during your opponent's turn, you contribute one monster you control to banish a card from their graveyard. So this whole Infernoid deck has that last banishing effect, and that's what makes it really good against today's meta of Shaddolls and Brightening Abyss, because they can just remove their targets from the grave and so on and so forth. I'm running one Harmadic because this is just the worst out of all the lower levels in my opinion, and because there's a lot of floaters in today's format, so I wanted just more space for other things, and Antra's the best in my opinion. But yeah, I just wanted more space since this is the worst. I didn't see the need for 3. If you would, you'd run it at 2. And what this does is once per turn, it has the banish effect, but it's same requirements as Antra. All the level 4s or lowers have the same requirements. This just destroys a monster on the field. Doesn't have to be face up, just any monster. It can be face down. And yeah, it cannot, the small ones cannot attack during the turn you activate their effects. So yeah, 3 Patrulia. What this does is same requirements to summon, same banishing effect, but once per turn you can destroy a spell or trap card, but it cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. So I'm running 7 of the little guys, and then I'm running 9 of the big guys. I'm running 2 Pieties, just because today's format requires a lot of in-hand use, so if you get rid of their hand, they are pretty much screwed. You have to banish 2 Infernoids from your hand or graveyard. It also has the banishing effect, but it can be summoned from your hand or graveyard, not just your hand like the smaller guys. All of them have the effect where you have to have effect monsters of ranks or levels equaling 8 or lower to summon them, so you do have to be careful of that. 3 Sietzmus. This is the best Infernoid, if you ask me, because its effect is banish 2 Infernoids from your hand or graveyard. Can special summon it from your hand or graveyard. Yes, you have to have the level 8 or lower, but if this card attacks a monster, at the end of the battle phase, banish 1 card they control. This effect does not target. 3 Adendels, because it's pretty much your it can attack twice. It's the card you will use most for going for game, other than Sietzmus. It's the same requirements as Sietzmus, but what it does is if it destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, a keyword sends to the graveyard, or words, it can attack again in a row. And then I'm running one of the big level 10, pretty much JD, Anunku. What it does is when it's summoned, you can destroy all other monsters on the field. Now, this is the only one that does not have the banish a monster from the grave. What this one does is when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect is activated, you contribute 1 monster, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. So this is really, really good against your Shaddol players using their Shaddol fusions or El Shaddol fusion, whatever you want to call it, the quick play or the regular fusion. So yeah. That's it for the Infernoids. I am running, let's see, 7 plus 9, 16? Yeah, 16, sounds right. 1 Blaster because all your Infernoids are fire. I forgot to mention, Anunku requires 3 to be banished from your hand or graveyard. Onto the Lightsworn engine, 2 Raiden. It's your Tinner, level 4. Monster can be normal summoned. Lila for back row, so you're pretty much running 6 MSTs in the deck. 2 Card Trooper, mills 3. It's good variety of the deck, because if you play Reasoning and they call 4, you can always mill the Card Trooper. Curry Bandit's good for opening up turn 1 because it gets you your spells or traps to your hand, which you do need. Your spells are more important than your traps, guys. So that's why I'm running the 2 Curry Bandits. Yes, if you happen to get them with reasoning, you can't use their effect and they're pretty pointless. But if you look at the big game, if you draw them first turn, they're freaking amazing, and you can always side them out games 2 and 3. Except for the monsters, 24 monsters, as you can see. 3 reasoning, because, well, it's 3 reasoning and the 1 monster gate's pretty much your win conditions of this deck. 1 soul charge to get out to search out your 3 Lightsworns. I'm not running Solar Recharge or Wolf because Wolf gets cloggy and Solar Recharge is pointless. Because you want... It's good, but I just feel like since I don't want to run the Wolf, if I ran 2 Solar Recharges, I wouldn't have enough targets and then it'd just be dead in my hand. 1 Burial, because you want more Banish feed. 2 MST, 1 Snatch Steal, pretty much a staple in every deck now. 2 Void Seer, you can bump it up to 3, I'm only running 2 because of space. 3 Eye of the Voids, because it's really great. If you have the Curry Bandits, and you have no other monsters on the field, but you set a Void Seer, and you have any of these in your hand, you're pretty much safe for that turn, and you can activate it during their end phase to pull one out. It summons it regardless of its summoning conditions, so the level 8 or lower effect thing does not apply. And it's just a really, really good card. I think more people should run this. If not, at least run it at 2, but I run it at 3 because it's a great card. And then 2 breakthroughs for effect negation. The side deck, this is just a side deck I threw together, really. I'm not really into this side deck. This is just, 2 effect veilers. I'm not going to explain anything. 2 effect veilers, 2 dust tornado, 2 light imprisoning mirrors, 2 skill prisoners, 1 spell shattering arrow, 2 royal decree, the Jinzo. I will explain the Jinzo after I get through everything. 2 dark hole and 1 non-fusion area. Now back to the Jinzo. I am citing the Jinzo because it works really, really well with reasoning. Yes, if you draw it, it's dead unless you contribute it. But if you pull it out with the reasoning, it's really good because neither player can activate traps. It does hurt your Eye of the Voids and breakthroughs, but it hurts your opponent more, I can promise you. It stops traps from being activated. It's 2400 attack, level 6, so, I mean, get room to summon. And you special summon it off of reasoning, so it doesn't require tribute, and you can still normal summon that turn. Sorry if this is going pretty fast, guys. I got people coming over for this Super Bowl Sunday really soon, so I'm trying to hurry this up. The extra deck, 1 Star Eater for your 4 level 4s and your 2 Raidens. 1 Stardust, obviously. Crimson Blader over Scrap Dragon because I run the Diamond Dire. But Crimson Blader just really, really good. Black Rose, of course. Goyo, of course. Felgrand, of course. Negates effects and unaffected. Dracosack, no explaining. Big Eye, no explaining. Level Chain helps set up Grave. Exciton, nuke field. 101 gets rid of problematic monsters. Castell, same deal as 101. Diamond Dire gets rid of problematic cards. Anti-Luminescent just screws with Burning Abyss. And then the Nightmare Shark because you run the 5 level 3s, excuse me. And it helps when you want to go for game. Hold on. So that's all I'm running all the Infernoid monsters, but I am not running the field spell. I just don't want to. It's pretty pointless, if you ask me. Void Launch is okay. I just don't like how it's during standby phase. It is the Heretic Ashes of the deck. Back to Void Expansion. It allows you to banish from hand and graveyard, and it also summons a token that you can banish, which is really, really good, but I just didn't want to... I felt it was too slow for this kind of deck, and a lot of people aren't running it, so I don't. You can bump Void Seer up to 3 if you wanted to. Yeah. So, that's it for the deck profile, guys. This is my Infernoid take. It's pretty good, but the problem with all Infernoid decks or builds that I've tested, this one's the best so far, is that consistency and hand. Like, you don't really need that much of a hand, but it's always good to have one. And a lot of times, I do not get the Reasonings Monster Gate. I don't get anything. I don't get any mill. I'll sometimes draw all Infernoids. But that's what the Eye of the Void is for, to get rid of those cloggy hands. So I hope you like the deck profile. I'm out. Peace!